Hello there and welcome back. I'm Y of Y's World, and in today's video we're going to discuss how creating bad art can help you to stay inspired. We're just going to do a straight roll through, and if you're an aspiring artist or someone just getting into art, we're going to discuss some of the frustrations and challenges that you may run into and how to get over them while still progressing in your art. We're just going to get straight into it here. This is going to be a no BS type of video. So the sketchbook I'm going to show you isn't a show book like a lot of these YouTube videos turn out to be. You actually are going to see one of my raw, incomplete sketchbooks with some of these nonsensical drawings that you're seeing here on the screen at the moment. So yeah, I'm just going to roll through and talk straight on about what we're going to be getting into. So basically, this is going to be an hour of me in my little studio area here. It's going to be condensed down into 10 minutes, and you're just going to basically see how I produce some of my artwork. And again, these are sketchbooks. So if we start off by taking a look at what the definition of sketch is, just to get a little bit of realism before we get into this. So the definition of a sketch is as follows. Sketch: a rough or unfinished drawing or painting, often made to assist in the making of a more finished picture. So taking that straight into account, you don't need to be a genius Picasso artist to start with, or to even call yourself an artist. If we take a look at the definition of the word art, art is the expression or application of human creative skill and imagination, typically in a visual form such as painting or sculpture, producing works to be appreciated primarily for their beauty or emotional power. So the thing is with art is it seems to be taken as a completely separated platform. So unlike going to the gym, going to work, learning to drive, or anything else that humans tend to do with some degree of ease, art seems to be put up on a pedestal that's like either you've got talent and you're an artist, or you're not. And it couldn't be further from the truth. Most of the best artists actually are people that are just really passionate for it. They may never even had natural talent or even particularly good art now, but they found a style, they're passionate, and they just produce work for the love of it. And if you want to become an artist, then that's all you really have to do, is just create art, create expressions, human form expressions of what's going on. It's hard out here for us guys, us aspiring artists. It's a difficult path. And that sounds silly, but it's not hard in terms of it's hard to put a paintbrush to a piece of paper, but it's challenging. You really are your own worst judge. You're judge and executioner to your work, sentencing it to a life imprisonment in the bin the minute it doesn't go the way you want it. And that's normally only within 5 minutes of working on it. If your work doesn't look amazing within the first 5 minutes, then it's not going to be a masterpiece, and it's frustrating, and you just give up and dump it. And that's something that I am particularly guilty of as well. I've done that for years. I even produced a comic series. I've done 6 books drafts, and when I realized the artwork wasn't up to par, which I knew to start with, but something about putting that much time and effort into something was just, I didn't want to do it all over again, redraw it all, make it better. So I just kind of gave up on it. And as you can see, what I'm doing here with this sketchbook is literally just for anything I like. There's no rules. It doesn't have to look amazing when it's done. It doesn't even have to be finished, because that's something that used to stop me from creating art, was that if I didn't think I'd be able to spend the time it took to create one nice piece of finished work in one go, I would just not bother. And that's not really how good art's created. Good art's created over time with a lot of effort and a lot of mistakes. You need to be willing to make many mistakes and to still work on top of that mistake, to try and learn your way out of a mistake, to end up realizing that you can't get out of the mistake and you need to scrap it anyway. But you still learn a lot from doing that. And what do you think that manga that you're reading at the moment, or the oil painting of your favorite artist, that you think they created that just within 5 minutes of looking at the canvas, or within one storyboard of the comic? We all know when we're thinking about it logically that it takes time to do anything, you know, to do anything well. It takes a degree of time. It doesn't mean you can't enjoy the process. You take the fun out of it when you start setting yourself boundaries and you know, trying to limit yourself to only creating good art. And I know it sounds corny, you know, about the whole there is no bad art. I mean, there is bad art, but bad art for me really is just unfinished art, or art that I haven't tried to do again yet and to redo, because there's no picture that you can't do better every time. You know, even if you don't do it better the first 15 times, then on the 16th time you're bound to. You know, and I don't limit myself to just retrying the same one image over and over again. I'll just flip through my sketchbook like you see me do here and just pick out anything that I fancy doing. I may have drawn a really basic sketch of it, you know, one day, or I might in one evening I spend an hour and just sketch out maybe 20 pages of nothing, and then I go back and do this to them maybe in a couple of days later when I've got another spare hour. I'll throw anything at them, I'll work out, you know, there's so many things with art when it comes to paper you're using, the pens you use, the products you're using. But now I just literally try anything, I even mix them together. You know, you find things, some of the things come out really well and look brilliant, and other things are, again, another mistake, another chance to learn something new. You know, you really can't take any of it for granted. The whole journey's fun. I look at some of these pieces and my old art critic mind I would have stopped here. The minute this hair looked like this, and the chalk's not really taken to the paper, you know, it looks terrible, and the skin tone's too dark, or it just doesn't work, it's kind of mixed with the blue on the chalk, and you know, I would have just thought, nah. Like the new me thought, right, let's try a bit of water with that. So, you know, I still don't think it works, but you know, the point is that I wasn't frightened. I wasn't scared to think, oh well, that's ruined. Let's see how else we can ruin it. You know, and I still actually enjoyed it. You know, even when I look at it afterwards, I don't look at that piece of work now. I think, oh my god, I want that on my sketchbook. It's a sketchbook. It's made for rough, unfinished work. You know, that's like we looked at. You know, I try anything. A lot of this stuff won't be from a reference either. It will just be me trying to recreate something that I may have drawn in final form. It's kind of like getting all your bad drawings out of your system, so when you go to do your good piece of work on your decent paper that costs a lot of money, you know, you don't waste it. You produce something good because you've got all the practice runs out of your system. Your proportions get better quicker. You know, you learn to inspire yourself to be your own inspiration, because you can just take a look through your sketchbook at different stages, and you know, once you're keeping it, it's like your artistic journal, seeing the ideas you had and how much better you are at just creating things on the fly. You know, some of these ideas, you know, none of it's particularly good. It's not, you know, finished, what I'd call finished show work, but it's definitely, you know, the definition of a sketchbook. Definitely why I do this is to just have fun with it, and some of these ideas, like the eyes, this thing here with the eyes and the wash I'm going to do on it, you know, I quite liked, and I would take into another art piece and create something from that. You know, even if you don't have a lot of time to create art, this sort of art, the way I'm doing this, you can do this just a couple of hours a week. By the end of the week, you look through your sketchbook and you've got 10 fairly decent finished pieces of work that otherwise you may not have created. You know, the more you make your mark on paper, the more inspired you'll be by yourself. You know, once you can do that, then time flies by anyway. You'll find yourself with a sketch pad next to you while you're just watching the telly, and you'll just draw the first thing you see on the telly, or you know, you'll just stop what you're doing and sketch something while you're walking by. So we're just going to take a look now at the sketches. This is them finished. So altogether it was about an hour and 1 minute, and yeah, they're alright. You know, like I said, they're not finished pieces of work, but you know, it's an hour. I learned a lot. I've thrown a lot of mistakes on the paper, and you can create pieces of work like this one. You know, you can go and do the finished canvases and the work. So thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed it, could relate to any of that. Subscribe if you enjoyed it, and like, that'd be a great help, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.